In the shadow of World War II, a new kind of war emerged, one without trenches, but not without fear. A war of ideology, of espionage, of nuclear brinkmanship. This was the Cold War. As World War II ended, victory was bittersweet, marked by rising tensions among erstwhile allies. The division of Europe at the Yalta and Potsdam conferences laid the groundwork for a fractured world. The ascent of Stalin's influence over Eastern Europe triggered apprehension across the Atlantic. The United States retaliated with the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan, seeking to stem the tide of communism. As Berlin fell, so too did the alliance between East and West. The world, once united against fascism, now stood divided, capitalism versus communism. It was Winston Churchill who heralded the dawn of mutual distrust with his Iron Curtain speech. The chilling phrase became all too real with the Soviet blockade of West Berlin in 1948. Amid fears of another war, Operation Vittles ensued, the Berlin airlift, where daily flights supplied the city and highlighted the escalating standoff. The Iron Curtain had descended across Europe, and in Berlin, the first major confrontation of the Cold War began. Planes filled the skies, not with bombs, but with bread. The race for nuclear supremacy defined the era, with both superpowers amassing arsenals of atomic and hydrogen bombs. With the doctrine of mutual assured destruction, MAD, the specter of annihilation hung heavy. The launch of Sputnik spurred America's NASA, propelling Yuri Gagarin into orbit and culminating in Apollo 11's lunar landing. Each side raced not just for power, but for the stars. While superpowers clashed in science and arms, their rivalries erupted in proxy wars. The Korean War, 1950 to 1953, mirrored the global divide, as North and South Korea became arenas for U.S. and Chinese power. Vietnam's jungles witnessed intense combat between the U.S. and Soviet-backed forces, paralleling yet another Soviet test of strength in Afghanistan against U.S.-supported Mujahideen. Though the Cold War was cold in name, its heat scorched lands far from Washington and Moscow, from the jungles of Vietnam to the deserts of Afghanistan. Amid the conflicts, the clandestine art of espionage flourished. The CIA and KGB locked in shadowy combat through double agents and defections, as Hollywood and Soviet media wove tales of heroism and villainy. In October 1962, the world teetered on the brink of nuclear war during the Cuban Missile Crisis. The presence of Soviet missiles in Cuba, coupled with the tense aftermath of the Bay of Pigs, drew the superpowers to the precipice. The Cold War ebbed and flowed with moments of thaw and renewed tensions. Détente sought efforts at arms limitation, symbolized by the SALT treaties and Nixon's groundbreaking visit to China. Ultimately, the winds of change gusted through the Soviet Union under Gorbachev's leadership. Perestroika and glasnost heralded reform, but economic woes and burgeoning dissent made collapse inevitable.